Hey, welcome back. Today, we're diving into the creepy world of killer dolls with the horror classic, Child's Play 2. If you thought Chucky was gone for good, you're in for a surprise. So grab your popcorn and maybe hug your teddy bear a little tighter. Let's get started. The movie picks up 2 years after the first one. The Playpals Toy Company, in a brilliant PR move, decides to rebuild the infamous Chucky doll to prove there was nothing wrong with it. They get the charred remains and, piece by piece, put him back together. During the process, a surge of electricity zaps a technician, but more importantly, it brings our favorite pint-sized terror back to life. Chucky's first order of business? Getting some answers. He tracks down the company's CEO, ties him up, and gets the location of his old friend, Andy Barclay. Meanwhile, poor Andy is trying to move on. After the trauma he endured, his mom is in a psychiatric facility, and he's been placed in a foster home with Phil and Joe and Simpson. They seem nice enough, but they're a bit skeptical of his past. He also meets his new foster sister, Kyle, a street-smart teenager who's not easily impressed. Andy is trying to settle in, but the memory of Chucky haunts him. Back at the toy company, Chucky cleverly replaces another good guy doll, gets himself gift-trapped, and has himself delivered to the Simpsons' home. That night, he sneaks into Andy's room. Andy wakes up to find Chucky tied to his bedpost. He's terrified, but tries to stay calm. The next day, he brings Chucky downstairs, trying to keep an eye on him. Phil, trying to be a good foster dad, tells Andy to get rid of his old baggage and throws Chucky in the basement. Of course, that's not going to hold him. Later, Chucky confronts Andy in his room. He reveals himself, confirming Andy's worst fears. Chucky's plan is the same as before. He needs to transfer his soul into Andy's body before he is permanently trapped in the doll. He forces Andy to come with him to a nearby school. At school, Andy tries to leave a note for his teacher, Miss Kettlewell, warning her about Chucky, but Chucky intercepts it and writes something nasty instead. When the teacher finds the note, she punishes Andy by locking him in the classroom during recess. This gives Chucky the perfect opportunity. He ambushes Miss Kettlewell, terrorizing her before finishing her off with an air pump. When Andy is found near the scene, everyone naturally blames him. He tries to tell his foster parents the truth, that Chucky is alive and killed his teacher, but they don't believe him. Phil and Joe think Andy is seriously disturbed. That night, Phil, fed up with Andy's stories, decides to prove him wrong once and for all. He grabs Chucky and heads down to the basement to show Andy that it's just a doll. But as he's halfway down the stairs, Chucky trips him. Phil falls and breaks his neck. Now Joanne has seen enough. She's convinced Andy is a danger and decides to send him back to the children's center. As she's preparing to take him, Kyle goes down to the basement and finds Chucky. At first, she thinks it's a joke, but then Chucky comes alive and threatens her. Joanne comes down to see what the commotion is, and Chucky attacks her, too. With both foster parents out of the picture, Chucky forces Kyle to drive him to the children's center, where Andy has been taken. At the center, Chucky pulls the fire alarm to create chaos. In the confusion, he corners Andy and begins the ritual to transfer his soul. But just as he's about to succeed, the center's supervisor interrupts them. Chucky takes care of him and then forces Andy and Kyle to take him to the Playpals toy factory. He figures it's the best place to finish the ritual without any more interruptions. Once they arrive at the factory, a thrilling chase begins. Andy and Kyle navigate the maze of conveyor belts and giant toy-making machinery, trying to escape the relentless doll. The factory, filled with thousands of good guy dolls, becomes a nightmarish playground. The sight of countless identical dolls is incredibly unsettling. making it hard to know where the real Chucky is. Kyle manages to trap Chucky in a machine that attaches doll limbs, but he breaks free, though he loses a hand in the process. Desperate, he improvises by attaching a sharp blade to his stump. The chase continues, with Chucky getting more and more mangled by the factory equipment. He gets his legs crushed and is then drenched in a vat of molten plastic. It seems like it's finally over. But just as Andy and Kyle breathe a sigh of relief, a horribly disfigured, half-melted Chucky emerges for one last scare. In a final, desperate move, Kyle shoves an air hose into Chucky's mouth, causing his head to inflate and explode in a shower of plastic and gore. And that, finally, is the end of Chucky. Or is it? As Andy and Kyle walk out of the factory, shaken but alive, we see a piece of Chucky being used to make a new good guy doll. A faint, evil smile appears on the new doll's face just before the credits roll, leaving us with that chilling possibility of his return. And that's the story of Child's Play 2. A perfect sequel that ramps up the action and the dark humor. What did you think? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.